It's no better time than now to start your smart home. 2025 is the year of the smart home, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned veteran when it comes to the smart home space. In this video, I'll tell you everything you need to know about smart homes, what I learned along the way in my journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll tell you what mistakes many people are making and how you can avoid them as well in this video. The number one thing I always like to start out by talking about in the smart home is the network. The network is the backbone of your home, and a network really comes down to four main components. One is going to be the modem, and that's going to be provided by your internet service provider. For my instance, I have Cox as my internet service provider, and they provide this thing called the panoramic modem router combination. In my case, I just use it as a modem. You're going to want to buy an external router as well. So we talked about the first step being from your internet service provider, the modem. Let's talk about step number two, the router. I have two recommendations for brands you can use, but there's so many to choose from. But here's my recommendations based on personal use. For smaller systems, below 2,000 square feet and below 3 mesh access points, you're going to want to use an Eero-based system. I'd recommend at the time of this recording of July 2025, use an Eero 7 Wi-Fi based system. Depending on the needs of the access points for your home, I'd recommend between 1 to 2, and for larger homes, maybe multiple stories, a third access point. If you have a larger scale home, 2,000 square feet or above, or you're really a power user, I'd recommend looking into the Ubiquiti brand. Ubiquiti has released a Wi-Fi 7 based system, and the Ubiquiti system is unique because you have to have hardwired connection to the access points. When I talk about an access point, this is going to be an external antenna in which you plug into the wall or in the ceiling, and that provides Wi-Fi coverage throughout the home. These access points have to be hardwired back to a switch. So we talked about the modem, the router, the access points, which are going to produce the coverage around the home, and then we talk about the network switch. The network switch is going to be a hardwired device that plugs straight into the router. The router is going to be the brains of the entire internet operation. The router then goes into the switch, and from the switch out to the access points, which broadcast the signal. That might be a lot. I have a whole video dedicated to just networking, but that's how an overall basic network works. In a consumer residential home, you're going to want to have those 4 levels to the home. So that's basic networking, 101 in a nutshell, but I always want to focus on the network because it's the backbone. If you have a weak network, if you have weak Wi-Fi, if you don't have good overall coverage, you're going to want to get that fixed before you start building out your smart home. All right, the second point I like to make is going to be around control systems. And I usually speak to 2 different sets of audiences when we talk about control systems. So mainly I'm speaking to the DIY folks, where we have the 4 main ones, and that's going to be the Amazon A ecosystem, the Google ecosystem, the Apple Home ecosystem, and Home Assistant. Those would be the main 4 DIY control systems. When we're talking about professional installers in which you need to work with a company, you need to have a higher end budget. These are the Savant, the Control4, and the Crestrons. So focusing on just the DIY market for a second, you don't have to know exactly which one you want to choose right away, and that's because of Matter is the new standard in which you can use all different smart home accessories with whatever platform you choose to use, and you can change them interchangeably. And that's the awesome part about Matter. So when you talk in terms of control system, you can use whatever floats your boat. I think the future is with Home Assistant, and that's what I'm going to start using in my home. But right now, I'm in the Apple ecosystem. I have an iPhone, got my iPad right here, I got my MacBook, so I just use Apple Home for my house. If you're an Android user, you might want to use Google, or Amazon has a great option as well. It's really up to you. Personal preference. If you have an iPhone, just use Apple HomeKit, or you can invest in a Home Assistant ecosystem. So number 2 is your control system, right? We talked about that there's pros and cons to each one. It doesn't really matter what you pick, but if you're going to pick one and you want to build for the future, I would say Home Assistant is going to be your best option. I would say the next topic that people get quickly interested in when it comes to smart home automation is going to be smart lighting. And in the DIY category, there's probably 2 main things you're looking into: smart switches and smart light bulb. Whenever you can, I would definitely recommend switching out to a smart switch. Lutron is the best-in-class brand. They provide reliable and somewhat affordable solutions for light switches, and you definitely want to pay for a reliable product. It's worth the money, so you want to go with something like a Lutron Caseta in that case. If you're looking for colorful bulbs just to add some ambiance, you're looking to add different sorts of just colorful lights, Philips Hue's a great brand. Govi's another great brand. Nanoleaf's another great brand. There's tons of really good brands that you can look into, and that's because things like the smart bulb, the smart light strip, they're getting commoditized. And what do I mean by commoditized? Basically, there's so many manufacturers producing a very similar style product that the features don't really stand out. The product has become a commodity, and it's a price race to the bottom. Who can make the cheapest and best product? And that's the one that is going to sell the most to the consumers. And what's the most well-known product? And that's why brand reputation matters in terms of the smart home space. So let's get back to it. For smart smart switches, I'd recommend you use the Lutron Caseta line. Replace any switch you have with a smart switch. And there's pretty easy tutorials. If you can't do it yourself, you can go ahead and hire an electrician. If you're looking for the easiest way, but there's going to be some kinks along the way, you can switch them all out for smart bulbs, but it's not going to be cost effective and it's not going to be the best option. Lutron's great because it works with all the major smart home ecosystems, and you can control it via your voice, via the phone, and a physical switch. It's great. If you guys are looking for the best-in-class lighting products, I do have some affiliate links down below that you can definitely check out. These are recommended and personally tested by me, so I recommend them with my authority. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about audio video, and I'm gonna clump these two together. TVs, this is gonna be your video. Unless you're getting a full-on home theater, which is a different video. Home theater is its beast of itself. That should probably be a future video. But TV-wise, I would recommend just getting the most cost-effective panel you can. Not Insignia, but I'd recommend Hisense or TCL. If you wanna have a more premium TV, you could go Sony or Samsung. They really do make quality panels, but for the average consumer, I don't think you'll notice the difference. But on the TVs that you buy in 2025 and beyond, the speakers suck. The TV manufacturers have stopped caring about the speakers because they know that the sale of speakers and sound bars are really what's gonna drive their revenue. So you're gonna wanna focus on getting a good sound bar. And what I recommend is a Sonos soundbar. At the top of the line Sonos soundbar, you have the Sonos Arc Era. And that's the newest Sonos soundbar. It's about $1,000. It's top of the line. It's really the top thing you need. If you have a smaller room, you can look into something like the Sonos Ray or the Sonos Beam for your audio solution. And if you want distributed audio, you're doing a full-on audio system throughout the home. You can have ceiling installed speakers. Doesn't really matter what brand. We usually install Origin acoustics, but you're gonna wanna get that hooked up to a Sonos amp so that you have access to the Sonos ecosystem, so you can just play throughout the home and it's real easy like that. If you want some speakers, just some Bluetooth speakers, Sonos makes some great ones, the Era 100. My recommendation, I also really recommend the Sonos Era 300 if you're looking for a big Bluetooth speaker. Super awesome, super great quality. Sonos is great. If you guys do have questions about your smart home, remember we do offer consulting services. Click the link down below. I'm happy to answer any question you have, whether you're just starting your smart home or you have a question that's giving you some confusion. I'm here to help. Click the link down below. Love to help you out. The next point I want to talk about is going to be security and cameras. When it comes to security and cameras, this is all about peace of mind. It's better to have these things planned ahead of time than needing them. We want to make sure that all our exterior surveillance is 24/7 recorded. So we want to have a wired NVR solution with wired camera. I would really strongly discourage Wi-Fi cameras unless it's the only option for you. And in many cases, I'm going to recommend Ubiquiti as well. Reolink has some great options, and there's many out on the market. Dow is another great one, things like that. There's so many options, it's become commoditized. But I'd recommend either Reolink or Ubiquiti for a wired camera solution. By using either of these two, you'll have not only 24/7 recording in a physical device, your network video recorder at your home, but you'll also have access to the cloud so you can access it from things like your phone. Super awesome, super cool. For alarm, in terms of DIY alarms, Abode is really the only solution I know right now. Ring has discontinued their solution, and really most people I know work with a local alarm provider. So that's my recommendation. I don't know that everyone needs an alarm system, but if you're looking for one, you'll probably want to work with a professional. Now let's talk about what is really going to bring your smart home alive, and that's going to be the scenes and the automations. What's the difference between scenes and what's the difference between automation? Scenes is going to be a pre-programmed specific setup for your lights, your TVs, things like that. It's going to be changing the state to fit a certain trigger. When you push the scene button, you want certain things to happen. Whether your TV goes on, the lights go to movie mode, things like that, your shades close. You want that to happen with the scene. Scenes are activated by the push of a button, whereas automations happen because of something happening. A trigger, if you will. A true trigger. Whether it's the time of day, a sensor detects something, a time of day changes, someone comes home, things like that. That is when an automation is going to run, and a physical trigger has to be provided for that automation to run. A scene will be triggered manually by someone's phone by the push of a button. Scenes are the secret sauce of your smart home. They're the lifestyle shortcut for you. Some of the essential scenes that I'm using in my smart home are the good morning scene, the good night scene, the I'm away scene, and the movie mode scene. Those are probably the four that you can definitely start out with just today. Let's talk about when you want to hire a pro versus when you want to do something yourself. And I created a list here, so let me go ahead and just reference it here on my iPad. When you're doing small DIY projects, you can definitely do it yourself. When it's just a couple of devices, it's not a large scale system, you don't have a huge budget, you're going to want to focus on doing it yourself. Some examples like just plug in smart devices. When you want to have a Philips Hue light bulb, when you want to have a smart plug operate a light. Simple solutions like that, you can definitely do it yourself. We talk about basic Wi-Fi mesh routing systems, like the Eero system. You can definitely do it yourself. You don't have to pay pay a pro. It's really, really easy. Voice routines and setting up basic DIY automations. You can do it yourself. It's very straightforward. As well as entry-level video doorbell installs. This is where, you know, the average consumer might draw the line. It requires some tools, some setup, might be some internet and some wiring involved. It could become complicated. This is when we want to hire a pro. You're definitely going to want to hire a pro when these things are happening. You're pulling wire in a home, whether this is for network or it's going to be for external cameras. You're going to want to make sure you hire the pro. When you're installing in-wall speakers or touch panels, any sort of drywall damage, you're going to want to make sure you hire a pro. And again, these are the wire runs that professionals should do. If you feel that you can do it, by all means, go for it. But if you have no idea what you're doing, hire the pro. When you're integrating all of these smart systems into a rack, you're going to want to make sure you hire a pro to correctly wire these into your audio video rack. There's nothing worse than a cluttered, unclean audio video rack, so you're going to want to make sure that you avoid that at all costs. If a wire needs fishing, if an attic needs crawling, if a speaker needs installing, you know who to call, and that's the pros. So in this video, I walked you through exactly what you need to know about the smart home. Smart homes don't have to be complicated, but you just have to know what you're doing, and you have to find the exact blueprint for exactly how to do it. I hope in this video you got a good blueprint on exactly kind of what to do when starting a smart home, where to start looking, what products to buy, and I hope if I can be more of an assistance to you, that you definitely click the link down below, and we'd love to hop on a call and help you out. My name is Chris Orm. Chris Orm's the name, Smart Home is the game, and I'm really appreciative that you guys watched this video today. I hope you got lots of value from it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more smart home content, and we will see you in the next for watching.